welcome everybody to Cristiana Carneiro, Meet the Winemaker. My name is Graham Crawford. If you're joining us for the first time and I've not met you before, very nice to meet you. We may have met before in the past. Nice to see you again, if that's the case. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes to get everybody on board. I'm not sure quite how many people are joining the call today, but if you could all mute yourselves upon entry, and then later on we'll be doing a Q&A after doing a very short informal interview with Cristiana Carneiro. So first and foremost, I'm going to introduce the product. Then we're going to introduce a little bit of background around the region and talk about Cristiana in more detail with Cristiana herself. Just give one more minute for anyone else to join us, and then we'll get started. Hope everyone's doing okay. Just sitting here in a hotel lobby, feeling very peculiar. Doing in the middle of a family holiday. I've just sent my lovely wife to the beach with the kids. Who's on the radio? I'm trying to work out who's there. Right. Okay. So if everyone could mute themselves for the beginning of this presentation. Only a couple of slides just to give you a bit of background before we start talking to Cristiana. So the product that we're here to talk about today hopefully has been posted to yourselves. And Natalie has been very diligent in making sure that everybody who needs one receives the invitation. £1 to play, £1,000 to win every week. Someone watching BBC. So without any further ado, to talk about the product itself, Luz Albarino is the product. Hopefully you have a sample in front of you. The wine that you'll be tasting today is 100% Albarino. It's made with stainless steel. There's no oak influence at all. On its lees, the skins of the grapes and the yeast from fermentation until around December. So then it's all clarified and prepared and ready to go for January, hence why you've got a 2022 and not a 2023. The line is exclusive to the Merchant Vintners Group and has been created in conjunction with Ben Godfrey, the Portuguese wine buyer from your team, who is, I believe, on the call today. The wine is made in a sustainable way. Carneiro Family Vineyards used to follow the IPM protocol, which is a way of retaining healthy soils, healthy grapes, and also healthy people. The program is used all over Portugal and is a really superb way to make sure that you know the wine is being produced sustainably. But in order to get a bit more clarity and a bit more kind of organization behind it, Vinny Portugal have started to do a sustainable accreditation, and that accreditation Cristiana has signed up to. She said it's very complicated, but she's on it, and this product will be certified sustainable in the near future. Carneiro Family Wines is the winery behind the product, and from that it's all about family. So there's Alberto, who is the husband, he grows the grapes, and then Cristiana makes it into wine. Wonderful synergy. The Albarino grape, if any of you aren't aware, is exactly the same grape as in Spain, and we want to make that absolutely clear because it's just the fact Portuguese spelling is different, and they refuse to label it Albarino. It's Albarino because that's how it's pronounced and that's how it's spelled. Put the last point on there as laser juice. Somebody asked the difference between Rias Baixas Albarino and Portuguese Albarino on Saturday Morning Kitchen for one of our wines. And Ollie Smith referred to it as laser juice, and I think it's perfect. A great descriptor. Gets straight to the point. It's got superb acidity, really refreshing, and it's the perfect wine to go with food. So a little bit of background. There's Cristiana and Alberto in the left-hand picture there. I believe that was the Provine event, possibly. There's the Albarino grape itself, which is the grapes behind the wine. Picture of harvest time there, the beautiful road in the distance. It's an amazing highway that sits above the vineyards, and then cover crop just to show a little bit of the vineyard and to give you a bit of background. So hopefully now I'll be able to stop sharing my screen in a way that is professional and seamless. I'm worried that is not what's happening. Go back. How on earth do we do this? Anybody knows how to do this? There we go. Stop sharing there. You should be able to see the wonderful Cristiana Carneiro in 3, 2, 1. There she is. Welcome. Welcome, Christiana.
Hi, Graham. Hello, everyone. Hope everything is going okay today. I'm here to talk with you about my wine and about the vineyards and about winery. But feel free to ask whatever you need because talking by myself, it's kind of it's what it is.
Don't worry, I'm
um,
here to help, Christiana. So you won't be talking by yourself. So let's
we are
let's
all
start.
together, but in by wire. In a long time ago, it will be by wire. Now it's by airways.
Airway.
Exactly.
Let's start at the beginning. So you've not always been a winemaker. What
No.
made you choose to leave your career in economics
Yes.
to start making wine?
I am. Me and my husband, we have the worst. We had the worst jobs in the world. I was in finance and he was in law. The two worst. I think there's nothing worse. And but we kind of decided that we wanted to do something different to raise our children. I think it's a little bit of a cliche, but it's what it is. In a long time ago, and it's almost 20 years now. We came here. It was my husband's hometown, and actually my grandfather's hometown too. But I had no connection, so and we came just to. We thought just to grow, to make to make a family work and be here, but we cannot be still. So at some point we had to do something. So we started to do renew all the wines, the vines. My sogra. The sogra is my
Ancestry?
mother-in-law had.
Yeah.
So exact sogra.
So the
So
village is
that's
the village is
it,
Ate,
nothing.
and it
Exactly
is in
nothing. It's
the
in
municipality Bad Mondim de Basto.
Mondin de Basto
Um,
is
it's
exactly
in the
between
Trás-os-Montes,
yeah, it's
in the
between
Trás-os-Montes
Guimarães.
region,
Yeah,
but it's the only region within the Trás-os-Montes that is allowed to be Vina Verde.
exactly. It's actually the last region before you enter Douro. So it's like in 20 kilometers. Here you cannot see because of the light. Everything is green, so it's still Vinho Verde, but it has a lot of Trás-os-Montes way of. It's really cold during the winter, really hot during the summer. So it's called a transition area. It makes it's actually the perfect place to have grapes because they become perfectly ripen,
Right? Yeah,
maduras,
right.
yeah, but in a quiet way. So it's not like it's we say it's the transition area because we are not Douro and we are not Vinhos Verdes completely. That is why most of the times the wines that we have they are less they are more mouth than nose. Yes, and
So
this
they
is because of where we are. Yeah.
so you've got some of the rain of the Vina Verde, but not all of it, and you have some of the sunshine of the Douro Valley, but not all of it. So you're hotter than the Vina Verde, but you're wetter than the Douro.
Exactly, basically, and everything is granite here. So everywhere except some bits of sand that we still have. I have no idea why. Um, Everything is granite. So all the minerality of the soil makes a big difference in the wine. There's no, you cannot escape this characteristic of the soil. Yeah, and hard people and hard wines.
Hard people,
The
hard wine.
granite.
Nice way to put it. Um, so the Alvarinho that grows in your region, how would you describe it being different to, say, the Monção Melgaço, which is the best known region for Alvarinho in Portugal, and
um,
also against the Spanish? How would you describe it?
I cannot say they are similar in the way that Monsanto Melgaço and here in the north of Portugal, mainly in the Vinho Verde, but especially here because we have a very Mediterranean. This is a microclimate that brings up the most, the best of Alvarinho. What we do similar is the vinification methods that are very, most of the times, very different from the Spanish. Spanish are more interventive in the Alvarinhos. We are more about the fruit and the purity of the grape. For me, it's the best grape you can do white wine. So whatever you can do to not ruin it is the best thing you can do. And the difference, I think Mossol Melgaço is more nose, but I don't say this because mine has no aroma. It's not this. It does have aroma, and you see instantly it's Alvarinho, but it's more than that. It's more because probably we are furthest away from the sea, so we have not so many cold nights during the summer and everything. So here during the summer, everything is much more quiet and steady. You don't have big temperature differences. Yeah, so it's you become with a more round wine because the grapes are not so stressed out.
Which
we don't, yeah, we don't water the grapes either. So yeah.
So there's less vintage variation, and therefore you get a more consistent product, which is why it's more competitively priced than a Monsanto Melgaço or a Rías Baixas.
And also because I have much more area. I have
How big is your farm?
Exactly, we are 40 hectares now, so 40 hectares is a lot of grapes.
And what percentage is Alvarinho?
Around 60%, because this is the main thing. We really wanted to. We believe in this grape here. We think this is the way to go. We believe the Spanish did a really good job explaining Alvarinho to the world. I think our Alvarinho is as good as the ones that people know throughout the world, because they will know the grape. They'll just need to understand this new producer. It's an easiest way to get to the consumer. If you already have something they know, it's easier to get there. And we actually really like Alvarinho. So it's kind of a two-way thing. Yes.
You've just reminded me. So one of the hardest things as a salesperson to do is to communicate to the buyers why your Alvarinho stands out from someone else's. So when you win a competition, such as you did in 2022, exactly. Which was the Concord of Portugal, I believe, is that the right competition?
Yes.
Yeah. So Concord of Portugal gave you best Alvarinho. Is that correct?
2021, I got the best Alvarinho in Portugal, actually, because it's a blind taste and there's no one's looking at exactly. And I think many people were surprised. I kind of went 3 times to check it was true. But
2021 vintage.
Exactly. And last year we won the silver medal in Brussels with this wine also. So, and it's more important for me. The medals are good. It helps us to see if we're in the right way to go. But I think what people think of the wine and how they interact with, for example, with me, is the best thing to see if we're doing the things right. But medals help, especially in a new brand. So yes, yes.
Sorry, no, you go.
No, I was going to open my wine.
Yeah, please do, please open.
So it says Luz Alvarinho. Luz is light in Portuguese. So light of day.
And your daughter is called?
Exactly. There's two reasons. The first reason is that I like the light of day. That 6 o'clock here we have well, I don't think it's a special light from here, but it's a light that I really appreciate it. And somebody told me it's called the golden hour for the photographers. I didn't know. So, but also my daughter is called Blush. So it's a kind of two-way, win-win information. But it was basically because I'm always very emotional, not emotional in a crying way, but I feel it's a beautiful place at that time of day, always. So it's Blush. It's a screw cap
Just to
because this
clarify, your daughter is called Maria de Luz, which means Maria of the Light. Is that correct?
in Maria de Luz, exactly, Maria of the Light. So she was actually going to be called Guadalupe, but my husband didn't let me. So she was called Maria de Luz, and
that
it's right. They're really nice.
I think your husband had a good point.
So it's I don't know if Graham already said it's a special label just for you. For you in mentioned business. It's screw cap also because it was the requirement. It helps also because you can open everywhere. When I go to a picnic, I always bring my own bottles of screw cap.
It's vegan, produced in a vegan way. It's
Yes.
Soon to be certified sustainable, but is produced sustainably, and it's from a
It's
family
already
estate.
it was already being produced sustainably. I just need to do the paperwork. It's Portugal. I don't know in England, but here the bureaucracy is very important. So paperwork is almost more important than the reality. And so I was already being sustainable, but I'm doing the certification to be able to explain that more clearly to people.
And I apologize for not having a glass in my hand, by the way. Very rude on a meeting like this. It's at home with my laptop and my tablet.
It's bad for you, Graham. You could be tasting the wine.
I'm sitting in Bournemouth in a hotel. I should have a glass of wine in my hand. Instead, I've got a cup of tea and a warm mineral water. But I'm very jealous.
But
So tell me how it tastes. How does it smell? How does it taste?
So the first thing you see, it's a really clear tone. It's a 2022 vintage, but I only bottle it when I have the order. This is why it stays always this light. If it was just bottled in January and sold now, it will have yellowish tones, and it doesn't. The idea is to be always with a fresh wine, fresh fruit, just bottled 1-2 months ago. So you always know that we'll have a bottle that is not sitting there in the warehouse waiting to be sold. It's only bottled when Graham tells me I have an order, and then I bottle it. So it's important to understand this is what I chose to do it like this since first. Sometimes a little bit complicated, but this is the way we do it here. So the color is always very light, citrus color. The nose, you instantly feel and you smell the grapefruit, the citrus. It's a citrus, but not lemony. It's like grapefruit. It's more complete. A little bit of pineapple. Sometimes people tell me a little bit of lychee.
Oh, I like
But lychee, yes, lychee, yes. So it's like a more robust aroma, not so white flowers, more fruit. Always fresh fruit.
It's an aromatic grape variety, but it's not a punch you in the face aromatic grape variety.
Exactly. When you taste, I don't know if you have it cold enough. It's important for this kind of wine to be tasted around 10, 12 degrees temperature. Not too cold. 8 could be too much, and then you lose a little bit of the
delicate
rest
aroma.
palate. But you feel this, it has a slight fizz, almost nothing. It's the characteristic of the vinhos verdes to have almost nothing, but some have too much. But here we have almost just a little bit that gives an interesting, I don't know, I can hear somebody talking to me. So in the mouth, first thing you feel is like you get the mouth full. So it's always a wine that you're going to, you can drink it solo, but it's always going to be better with food because of the Alvarinhos from the here this region, it's a very complex wine. It goes all the way, it stays in your mouth, you feel like you want to drink more. So it's like, it's not very, it's a straightforward wine, not too complex, but not too complex in a way that you go, oh, I need to think about if I like this wine or not. It just goes and starts to become interesting at the moment you drink it. So you will want to drink more.
And there's no you don't need to do anything to this. You don't need to add sugar. You don't need to add any gas. This is just purity of fruit, bit of lees aging, and it just sings from the glass straight away. And in terms of food, in the Vino Verde or in Mondin de Basto, what food would you pair this with? What would be your ideal match?
I actually have a couple of food. For me is very important, especially because I think people most of the times they will drink, they can drink a glass of wine after work, etc., etc. Spanish do that a lot, but I think most of us, we drink wine with food. So it's like it should be able to explain that how does it work with food. The white wines work from salads to, and you know, there's salads, fish, light meat, okay, whatever, white meat. But I think the Alvarinho is very interesting to pair also with sushi,
okay,
especially because what I have been told is because of the acidity that cleans the mouth and then you start again. And in sushi, it's very important to have this reset that you start again because all the foods are you need to taste them. They all have their own taste, so it's important to clean your palate and start again. And the acidity of this wine, of the white wine, not too alcoholic, so people can drink a bottle and not and that fall over. It helps. And also recently I was in Sao Paulo in Brazil, and strange enough, they said it's good for spicy foods, and I had no idea, because what they said is a different way. The capacity of the creaminess, because of the lees, it kind of tones down the spice. So it's like it helps. It's not like the only thing you can eat with spicy food, but they said this creaminess it has, that is from the Alvarinho, it helps. It's like not the yogurt, but it helps to tone down a little bit of the spice, so you can continue the food. So
and also it's not the highest in alcohol, because Alvarinho, you're probably talking 12 to 12.5, sometimes 13 in a really hot year. But with spicy food, if you have too higher alcohol, it burns and it clashes. So you need a slightly lower alcohol.
Everything, and you cannot, you will enjoy the food anyway, but it's not the complete package. And I think it was interesting that they gave me this feedback. And I said, next time I'm going to tell people this is interesting for me also. White wine, especially white wine in the winter, is a little bit tricky, I understand. But Alvarinho is not a white wine. The Alvarinho steps into the Chardonnay kind of buyer, the person the person that goes for the variety, but will drink a complex white wine. The winter doesn't need to be all red now. I think there's nothing. I think people are not there anymore. They want to try different things, and the Alvarinho has this capacity. This
in the UK, we've kind of almost removed seasonality from our buying methods. So when we go out to drink in a bar, we'll generally, massive generalization, we'll buy what we want to drink rather than what is right for the weather or for the food. So if you're a Pinot Grigio drinker in the UK, you will drink Pinot Grigio most of the time when you go out. If you're something like a Viognier or a Riesling or a Sauvignon Blanc, then you're more likely to drink those. But I see where you're coming from. You can drink this. It's got a bit more intensity to it. You can have it in the winter.
Yes, it's not a. It's not a. It could be in the summer. It can be eaten with food, exactly. But in the winter, it stays. It stands complete. It's a complete wine that helps to work out. It's a family thing. So I will never. My husband says sometimes that if we don't like a wine, we will not sell it, and it's true.
Yeah. On that note, I thought it'd be a good idea to pass out to the people who will be selling this wine in the UK or trying to sell the wine in the UK. To everyone who's watching, if anyone would like to raise their hand, ask a question,
yes,
please feel free to do so. I've been asking the questions so far. Please do join in. Let me know if you've got any questions about Christiana, her wines, the region. Fair game, any question at all. Our first question: what's the flamingo doing behind you?
I lived before in the Algarve. They are copper flamingos, actually. They are not real flamingos.
I have a feeling I walked into that when I first came to your house for dinner, or for lunch actually we had.
Exactly. And actually it's raining terribly today. It's a really, really ugly day. But I found a place with some light. So
excellent. Is there, if anyone wants to put a question in a chat, please feel free to do so. I'm not sure if you have already. Just having a quick look.
Especially to see what you thought about the wines and your thoughts also. It's interesting for me to see what are your ideas and what do you expect when you open an Alvarinho, and if this one did the job.
Oh, I see. Is that Matt there down in the Isle of Wight? Have you just taken your?
No, I'm just moving the screens. That's all. So
apologies. I just saw you. Saw you didn't have mute on, so I thought maybe you're going to ask us something. Ben, did you want to? Sorry.
I think you pretty much covered it all off. Really, it's a nice, easy drinking wine. It's the right money. Albarino is something that I've been trying to get going on the Isle of Wight, which is probably even further back than Mike McGarry, and it's something that it is getting there now, and hopefully that with this as well at the right price point, because everybody's talking, unfortunately, with the cost of living, they are talking about price points and where it's going to sit on lists. So yeah, we'll try and place it in the restaurant market at the right level. And I think from memory, we can probably get it out sub 40, which is a psychological price point in the restaurant side. So
yeah, sounds about right. I think Michelin star high-end restaurants with tasting menus by the glass and then having it on the list as a bottle, but by the glass instead of Albarino for a more competitive option, where they're currently listing the Spanish, they can save themselves a bit of money.
Yeah. And hopefully pass some benefit on to the actual consumer as well, rather than just themselves. That was a bit cynical, wasn't it? But yeah.
Personal decision. Ben, over to you. You were the man who listed this product. Is there anything that you wanted to say or anything you wanted to ask Christiana?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Very nice to meet you, Christiana. Thank you very much for joining us today. Retasting it today, I think we first tasted the wine as a group back in about February, I suppose, when we were looking at it for as a possible listing, and tasting today, I think it's even better than it was then. It's got it's a lovely Albarino, got a lovely texture to it, and I think it's really good. So well done.
Thank you.
And I mean, when we were, as Graham will know, when we were looking at it for the group, we made some very conscious decisions about the label and how the marketing was going to be, because it's certainly the feedback when we tasted the wine as a group was that an Albarino to compete with what we were doing from Spain was going to be a really good opportunity for us. And I think in terms of the presentation and the package and everything, I think all the right decisions have been made, and the wine is fantastic. So yeah, that's great.
Well done to you on that, Ben. Good decisions.
No, the really well done was the winemaking, because it's it tastes delicious.
I try because I'm the one that does the wines actually. So it's not very easy sometimes. My decisions are very I am very stubborn, and I try to do things my way, but it's not very easy sometimes. But yes.
But I think it's very true what you said as well about matching it with food, because quite often people they just automatically think about drinking this sort of wine in the summer. But I think generally, as Graham said, the seasonality thing is not so important, because certainly where we are in our part of the UK, seafood is very important,
Exactly.
because we're quite close to the coast, and some of the best seafood in the world comes from here, and this is the time when it's at its best, this sort of season, and coming into the winter. So it's a perfect wine for us to have with some of the food we have in our part of the country. Absolutely.
Yeah. And seafood is also very important here in Portugal. So as you imagine, as I imagine, and it has to be a wine that doesn't clash and doesn't overwhelm the seafood, because it is a sensitive product, but it cannot be just watery, because then what you're eating and all the things that you're expected to have when you eat seafood are lost. So it has to be as good as what you're eating. So, and this is the main thing, the most important thing. Yeah.
Christiana, we have a question on the chat from Mike. The question is, how long is it on its lees, and how long is the maceration period?
Okay, so then maceration is more complex, because normally the maceration has to be chosen year by year. Why? Because the maceration of without fermentation, it makes the acidity go down, and sometimes you don't want that. You need to stay with the acidity that you have of the grapes. And for example, this year the acidity was good enough, but not too much. So we couldn't go to do maceration. We had to do something else. But maceration, when the juice stays with the grapes, exactly before fermentation, if it stays too long, it tones down the acidity of the wine, and then you get a flat wine, not very nice wine. So
that would depend on the balance of the wine during
of the year. And this year was a really tough harvest, because it was it was very hot, and then suddenly it started raining, and thunderstorms and everything you can imagine. So you had to go quickly you had to pick up the grapes really quickly. You had to keep the acidity of the grapes at the point it was, because if not, because of the heat, some grapes wouldn't ripen more, and the acidity will start to go down. So the maceration this year didn't exist. This wine, 2022, there was a little bit of maceration, 12 hours of maceration before fermentation. The lees is also, it depends a little bit on the year. last year it was around 2 months because it was around October till December. This year we'll have more time because in September the wine was done. So we'll have from September to December. It has to be Christmas time. I always say the wine has to be in the vat till New Year's. And then we start moving it about and see what we do with it. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So you said this year was challenging. I know from personal experience some of our wineries are about 30% down in yield this year in the Vineyard.
Yes.
How have you been affected?
Around the same, but not in all varieties. For example, there are varieties that are more. The varieties are the same because they are already very sensitive. So it's not like we take extra care, but we already are always there because they are so sensitive. That's an example of the Alvarinho.
So, for example, you said that it got really hot, then it rained, and there were thunderstorms. So you had mold buildup. Was it the Alvarinho that was more sensitive, or is there another grape that's more sensitive?
For example, Alvarinho was already indoors when started raining.
Okay.
So the Alvarinho has no, but for example, other grapes like the Arinto, for example, that it normally is after the Alvarinho, it was raining. So it is a good wine, but it's not extraordinary wine, and it's what it is. And you can do the best of what you can, what you have. And it is always going to be a good wine. It's not like the best vintage ever because it was raining cats and dogs, like you say over there. So it was very hard.
Very good expression. There we go. I like that question. There you go. Ben, can we have a Rinto? What a great question. Ben, over to you.
Yeah, good question. That's a feedback noted.
Amazing. Well, we could always get some samples over for you to try when the wines are ready. So we don't want Christiana to work before Christmas. So after
I do work. No, the wine has to be. Yes, no, I work too much.
We've got Arinto, Azal, Loureiro are the other grapes that you grow on your estate, and you buy some reds in to make some rosé because you only grow whites. Is that correct?
No, normally I do rosé with my grapes. There are Toriga Nacional, Padeiro de Basto, very strange names, and some Vignon. Vignon is really dark color.
But this year you have to buy them in because your grapes are not great. Sorry, that was my.
I don't have enough grapes for the rosé I wanted to do, so I had to buy a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So just that was more for my personal knowledge there. Sorry, guys.
No, yes, but I bought from my neighbors, so it's it's just the difference because it's executive decision to start. We are specialists in whites. We only do white wines, but people started to ask me for roses, and I did an experience 2 years ago. And it worked well. And last year, it was even better. So I think I need to continue to do the rosé I'm doing because it's different. It's not very sweet. It's dry, not too much gas. So it's like, I don't know, it's a bouquet rosé, yeah.
It's so one of the supermarkets in the UK, premium retailer, they have an experimental range, and they had a Vino Verde Rosé in the range. And I don't want to name the names because I'm not sure if I'm giving away their data, but their best-selling wine in that range last year was the Vino Verde Rosé. And
because if you maintain your characteristic, your personality, there's always a personality in the range of wines you do. It should be like this. I believe this. So if people like your white wine, they will understand it. When you drink something else that you do, it should have the same feeling. It's not the same wine, different grapes, different ways to work the grapes and to do the wine, but the personality is the same. You feel like it's like when you see two people that are related, you see they are cousins, so they are the same family. You understand they are the same family, even if they're not exactly the same. And I think with wines, especially when winery has it's a big difference between a family winery. The family, it's not only because it's from a family, it's because it has a familiarity of work, of the way that you work. It's very easy to go to industrial kind of labor, of working the wine. It's not bad, it's what it is. When you start to do 1 million bottles, you are industry, you're not artisanal. And being artisanal, unfortunately, has like a wrong connotation. I think people think that we, I don't know, do things with whatever.
Like
but
the garagistas in you want to be more like a garagista than a.
But if you do maintain the characteristic, if you say that this is my name on the bottles, I cannot just do anything, and you will have a characteristic. You will have something that is similar to all, and that you can show off, and you can, and be proud. Because if not, then something's wrong.
There's another word. If you go with boutique, so if you call yourself a boutique winery, my assumption is that you're going to be really expensive, because boutique is that kind of thing.
But I don't think Vinho Verde needs to be expensive. But this is the way I think. I think that we need to have wine. It cannot be given away, but it has to be right price, because people will drink wine, but we have to help them to drink wine. If it's too expensive, exactly. This is a product. It has to be. It has to have the price that people can afford it. Because if don't, they will not drink it, or they will drink crap, and they will think, "But that is wine, and that's not wine." So it has to be there. Like, this is what wine is, and you can afford it, and help them understand that this is a bit more pricey than the other one that is not good.
There's an expression that one of our Spanish wineries uses. The expression is mastige. So it's prestige for the masses. So it's an increase in quality, but it's commercially a viable product. So, and that's where your wine is. It's good. It's a level above, but it's not a level above in price. So we're still accessible. I'm gonna close it out there. If anyone's got any other questions, please do let us know, or if you feel free to ask them now. But Mike, Matt, Ben, Brig, Adam, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much also.
And please do fire us an email if you think of anything after this, or if there's anything that you'd like to know that might help sell the wines into your restaurants. Please do let us know.
Can I just say a big thank you on behalf of the group? Christiana, thank you so much for joining us. That was fantastic. And thank you, Graham and Natalie, for organising this and the bottles of wine and everything. And it's, when we have a new listing, it's always really enhances things to do this sort of thing, to bring it to life for everyone. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben. Really well said. Thank you.
Cheers for everyone.
Enjoy the rain, Christiana. I'll see you soon.
Yes.
I'm gonna go and grab the boy and girl from the beach and go and see my lovely wife. So we're gonna drive back to Milton Keynes now.
Good. Have a nice time. Enjoy the sun before the rains get there.
Yeah, no, I've done our beach now. I'm ready for hitting the road and going home. Take care. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.